Welcome to the glue system. This is a video about the glue system, developing a grammatical understanding of sentence boundaries. A Dr. M. Grammar video. Let's go. So, take a look at this sentence. Number 1, because it was raining. Something's wrong. This is a fragment. Did you get it? This is not a complete sentence. We're going to find out why. Take a look. Here's number 2. We have because it was raining in number 2 also. Look at the difference. In number 1, because it was raining is all we have. In number 2, we have a lot of other things going on. A couple of clauses. I didn't want to go out. I just wanted to stay home because it was raining. How about that? Still a little something wrong. Do you know what this is? This is a run-on. So what we have here is we have a run-on sentence. We're going to find out why. Keep going. Now, take a look at the analysis. SV, I didn't want. SV, I wanted. And the last SV, it was raining. But the S goes on it, and the V goes on was raining. So was is part of the V. You can see that. So what's that because? What's that G? Glue. So the glue is what we use to join clauses. And the reason number 1 is not correct is that because is a glue word, and it's supposed to be there to join 2 clauses, but there's only one. It was raining. It, the subject, was raining, the verb. So we have a glue SV. Here we have that same glue SV, but now we have a clause to join it to. I just wanted to stay home. What about this other clause? Well, that's a problem because this clause is extra. We don't have a glue for that one. So this is a run-on. It has 3 SV and 1 glue. No good. We're missing a glue, or what we can do to fix it is to put a period here and have 1 SV. And in the next sentence, we'll have 2 SV and 1 glue, and then it'll be good. How are we doing? Get it? Okay, let's move on. So here's our rule. A complete sentence requires 1 more SV than glue. Let's see if we can do that with a long sentence. Complete sentence. Well, first we're going to do just a shorter sentence. 1 glue and 2 SV. There it is. I didn't want to go out because it was raining. We've now got our third version, which is the correct one. And we can prove it. SV, glue, SV. Now, we can also number our SV. So we could have S1, V1, glue, S2, V2. Okay. Now, let's go on to our next example. And by the way, if you see the formula there, 1G plus 2SV equals S. That's the way we will talk about these sentences, by making like a little formula. So you put the number of glue and SV, or you can do the number SV and glue, it doesn't matter the order, equals S. It doesn't matter the order because they're all put in together, and sometimes the glue comes first and SV is around the glue, and it's all different, so we're okay. All right, now let's look at a longer one. This got out of order. That's not what I wanted. worked on it a lot, but it still got out of order. We're not supposed to see that yet. Okay. It got messed up with the clicks, but that's okay. We'll manage. Okay. So even if it sounds okay when I say it, it may not be correct when I write it because I may not have the right number of glue words for the number of SVs in my sentence. Now, it's interesting that on their exercise earlier, if you are taking the course, you may notice this was an exercise. And many students believed that this was a run-on because it's so long, but no. You can't just look at something long and say, oh, it's a run-on. No, you have to look and see what you really have. That's why I put it here. And if we look at what we really have, actually, this is totally grammatical. In fact, if you see how many SVs I've labeled 5 SVs. So how many glue would we be looking for if we have 5 SVs? 4 glue. Remember the rule, 1 more SV than glue. Let's see if we have 4 glue. Even if is glue. When is glue. Sometimes these don't line up quite right. When, again, is glue. And because is glue. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 glue. So we're good. Now let's make sure what we've got here. Let's get the SVs. It sounds. I say. It may not be. Correct as an adjective, by the way. The main verb is be here. I write. And then I may not have. Okay, and remember, not is just a little adverb we throw in there. The verb is I may have, and it's negated. Okay, now look at all this other stuff. The right number of glue words for the number of SVs in my sentence. That's all got to have some subjects and verbs? No. Have the right number, that's your object, have it. This whole thing is the object. The right number of glue words, that's a prepositional phrase, of glue words. For, that's another preposition. For the number, that's another preposition. Of SVs, that's another preposition in my sentence. So all of those are prepositional phrases that are part of the noun phrase, the right number. So we have article, adjective, noun, and these are all post-modifying prepositional phrases. And we could go into it more if it were linguistics, but we're going to stay at that level for right now. So notice that we have a long sentence with SV. One SV comes first, and then one glue comes first, then SV, then glue, then SV. 2 SVs in a row, see? Because sometimes the SV is flipped. Right? Even if it sounds okay when I say it, you couldn't put a period there because that would be 2 SV, 2 glue. See? So you have to learn the system. Now, let's move on. So which of these is correct? I'm giving you 2 examples. It's the same sentence. There's only one difference. 5A is correct, 5B is correct, neither is correct, or both are correct. 5A, 5B, neither, or both. Okay, what do you think? So we can see that the only difference is however or but. However is here. Whoop, I didn't mean to do that. I see when I click it, it goes. And this is but. So one of these is glue, and one of them isn't. Now remember, a comma is not glue. So we use a comma with but because it's a joining glue or a coordinator, so we're fine with 5B. So 5B is correct. But however, that's not glue. It's a transition word. So we need a semicolon or a period. So we could say, that woman is alone, period. However, comma, because this is simply a transition word. And we can test that by moving it around. She doesn't look happy, however. See that? However, she doesn't look happy. Or she doesn't look happy, however. Or she doesn't, however, look happy. We can put it the beginning, the middle, or the end of that little clause there. Then we, of course, have with the other clause because she has a smile on her face. So that is glue there. We have that because in the next sentence too. So in 5a, we only have one glue, because however is not glue. Now how do we fix this? Well, we can put a period, as I said, and start with however as a transition word with a comma, or we can put a semicolon, which is a very dangerous type of glue, but it is glue. We can put a semicolon. The woman is alone, semicolon, however, comma. She doesn't look happy because she has a smile on her face. Unhappy. Okay, the other one, so that one would be the woman, S1 is V1, semicolon is the glue. However is not labeled in any way. If you want to, it's a transition word. She is S2, doesn't look is V2. Unhappy is just an adjective. Glue is there, the because, and S3, she, and V3 has. Okay, so there we are. So how did you do? So it wasn't neither, it wasn't both, it was 5B. Okay, so let's look now at these words. So how do you know if it's glue or a transition word? You have to look at lists. There are lists everywhere. Okay, you can find lists that will tell you. They won't say glue or not glue because that's my system. So you'll have to get either use my lists for the glue, or you can make the crosswalk between my lists and traditional terminology, which we will do in a later slide. So let's see if you can do this. So, therefore, glue or not glue? What do you think? All right, I want you to take these words and decide which ones are glue and which ones are not glue. Okay, so the glue words on the left and the not glue on the right. And you'll be answering that on your own, and then I will show you the correct ones. Okay, here we go. Therefore, although, after, then, however, we know that one, right? But, we know that one too, right? Finally, so, wherever. Have you seen that one? Wherever. Who and that. How did you do? Okay, now these aren't all of these words. There are many more glue words and many more transition words, but this is to give you an idea that you must know the difference because you use them very differently. All right, if it's not glue, you can't count it as glue. Let's move on. All right, so this is a little difficult now. We're going to be labeling, but I have to exit the slideshow. In order to use the pen, I have to use a different type of slideshow. I have to use a slideshow that is presented full screen, and I will do that for this next one. So here it is, and we're going to do it. Play from current slide, and here we go. So now I'm going to take the pen and we're going to label. So here we go. Let's read the whole thing first. It's all one sentence. So we have to label the S's and the V's and count the SV to see if we have a sentence. These are all correct. It's just that we don't know where the period and comma go. So we're going to do all of these labels, and then we're going to make our little formulas on the left side, showing for each sentence we made that we have the right number of SV and glue. So I'm going to give you a minute to work on this on your own in your head and see if you can figure out how many sentences are you going to make here and what kind of combinations of S and V and glue are you going to have. You might want to start by looking for SV. You might want to start by looking for glue, counting, figuring things out. Okay, so I'll give you some time to work on this for a minute, and you should now take a minute. Okay. If you need more time, let me know, but I think you're okay now. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start and we're just going to label. Whoop, where? No, 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 no. Wait a second, that's not what I want. I want the pen. Pen, pen. There we go. Okay, we're going to label. That's an S. That's a V. And I'm going to underline the V so you're clear. Don't understand. That's the entire verb phrase. All right. This is a glue. And this is an S. Already is an adverb, but here's a verb. Now, to speak. See the to? That's an infinitive, so we're not going to label anything that comes with that. S, I, V, graduated. Okay, from high school, prepositional phrase. Here's and. Now, and may be glue or may not. Let's look at what comes next. Now, that would be a transition word. So here we go with an S and then a V. So we can go back and decide, yup, it's a glue word. All right, now here we have another to. We don't label that because that's going to be an infinitive. There's a preposition, so we're not going to label that. Here's another S. They, just is an adverb. Told, me is an object. That, it's probably glue, but remember that could be a pronoun. It could be demonstrative determiner or a demonstrative pronoun. It has many different uses, but it is a glue here. We can demonstrate because S and V come next. And again, I'm gonna underline so you see have is the main verb there. That's not an auxiliary because the next is a noun phrase, 2 more semesters. Oh, I didn't underline some of these verbs to make them clear for you in case you're still struggling with that. Okay. Of English, that's a prepositional phrase. Here's but. So that's going to be a glue. Actually, but isn't always glue either, but I don't want to get you too confused. But all right, here's, oh, that's not a V, sorry. I don't know how to erase. That's an S. I'm modeling, risk-taking, nobody's perfect. Okay, here's a V. Don't want. Any more English courses? And then here's another S. Here's another V. What do you spot here? Good for you. That's going to be an infinitive. Here's if, another perfectly good glue we have there. And then we have an S, which is I, and then we have don't take, which is right here. And the required English courses, oh, here's they, another subject. Tell, we're going to underline just tell, me is the object. Here's a that. Again, we can't be sure, but let's see what after. Ah, there's an S right after it. It's going to be the glue. Sorry, my pen isn't always perfect. Here's cannot earn, which is going to be our V. All right, and then we're going to be over here, my degree, that's the object, now, transition word, and now we have an S, and we have a verb, which is am thinking. I'm going to underline it to help you out, to make sure you see how we underline these verbs. The progressive, of course. About, that's a preposition. To, now remember, to can be a preposition or infinitive. You learned that from Shanaz and others maybe. So to, oh, I'm not supposed to give a name because it might be a next semester. Anyway, if it's next semester, that was a student from the past. Okay, to a trade school and forgetting about college. Now, notice going here is not a verb. It's with about. About what? About going. What is that going to be? If it's with a preposition, going, about. See, you can put it here. That's a preposition, about it. I am thinking about it. About it. About what? About going to a trade school and forgetting about college. So what do we got here? This is actually a gerund. Did you get it? going and then a gerund with a prepositional phrase and another gerund. I'm thinking about forgetting about college. It's a little confusing, but this is what English is like. Now you see the and there? Don't mark it glue, can't be, because what it's coming between two gerunds and after a preposition. This is part of a prepositional phrase. We have going and forgetting. So I'm just going to put a plus here to remind everybody. To remind, somehow it started, just a minute. This is crazy the way this works, but it does somehow work that way. Okay, now we're back to this. And there we go. Now, where are we going to, our next task is where are we going to put the periods and where are we going to put the commas and how many sentences are we going to make? I don't understand the college English requirement because we could put a period there, SV, but let's see what we can do. Because I already know how to speak, read, and write English. I graduate, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, there's no glue there. So why don't we do S1, V1, glue, S2, V2, and we'll put a period right there. Whoop, period, period. Okay, I graduated. That's going to be our 1 because we're starting again from high school. And now that's going to be our 2. I want to study computer technology in English, in college, not English. They, there's no glue. Now, remember, glue doesn't always come between two SVs, but it usually does. So in this case, we are going to put a period here. And we'll start again. They, and of course, you'll put a capital. S1, V1. Oh, sorry, I forgot to underline told. There's your glue. So there's your 2 and 2. 2 more semesters of English, but there's our glue, so we can keep going. S3, V3. Any more English courses? Oh, no glue. Okay, so we got a problem there, so we're going to put a period here. That's where we'll put a period. And comma, because we need a comma with that type of glue. And also we forgot our comma here with the and. Remember, and but take the comma. Because does not. It's flipping glue because you could put it at the beginning, then you'd put a comma. Because I already know how to speak, read, and write English, comma, I don't understand. Well, it wouldn't make as much sense that way in this particular case. Okay, let's go on. I only want to study my major if. Major if I don't take, only want to study my major if I don't take. That doesn't work. I only want to study my major if I don't. Oh, if, see, you could put if here, but the meaning, this if I don't take applies to the next clause because they tell me I cannot earn if I don't take. So you know what? We're going to put a period here. We're going to leave this a short sentence, just SV. Now we're going to have the glue first. Glue S1, V1. Then we're going to do S2. This isn't how I would do it with ESL students. You're graduate students, so I'm doing it with you this way. Okay. Tell me that okay, so that works as a glue right there. Tell me that. They tell me that. Tell me that. You're thinking about what kind of glue that is? That I cannot earn my degree. Now, not glue, transition word. We're going to need a period there. Let's start again. I am thinking about going to a trade school and forgetting about college. There we go. So we have the first sentence. Now we're going to check our sentences. So I'd like you to take a minute and look at each sentence and write a formula for each sentence. So the first, I'll give you the first one. The first one you've got, I don't understand because I already know. How many SV? 2. How many glue? 1. And so we have that formula. Okay? Everybody see that. Now, the next one and the ones after that. So take a minute. Let's see how many sentences we have. We have 1. Then we start here a sentence 2. Here's sentence 3. Sentence 4. Sentence 5. And sentence 6. We have 6 sentences, so you should have 6 formula. The first one is on the screen now, so 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next ones. Okay, so here's the next one. Did you get it? And the next one. And the next one. And the next one after that, which is in the same line. So, and finally. Okay, so there we are. So now we have our formulas and we've labeled our paragraph. And just remember that you have to add the commas. In fact, I missed one here. If I don't take the required English courses, comma is needed there. Whoa! I have to go back again and get the pen. Everybody's learning here. Ah, it took away everything when I did that. They tell me we need that comma there. Okay. All right. So with that addition of the comma. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the slideshow, the other type of slideshow, so that we can do that other type of slideshow, and we'll see what we're doing. All right, so now we're going to go to the next one, and this time what you have to do is take the types of glue. Oh, we forgot to do the types of glue. So what were the types of glue? Well, let's go back again. The first glue was because. Do you know what type that is? That's flipping glue. And the next glue was and that's joining glue. And the next glue was that. Now that can be combined or hidden or simply the relative pronoun that's not a subject. So let's see what it is. They told me that. They told me it. So that's a noun clause. Now, is it the subject of the noun clause? That I will. Well, I is the subject. So this is not a I'm sorry. So this is not a subject. So because it's not a subject, we can delete it. So they just told me I will have. So we can take it out, which means what kind of glue? Hidden glue. Okay, hidden glue. And it's a noun clause introducer. So this is a noun clause. They told me it. But, that's the joining glue. And if, which is the flipping glue. And they tell me that. This is the same as they told me that. This is another noun clause. It's not the subject because I is there. Hidden glue again. Now I'm thinking about, that's only one SV. So we've had different type of glue here. We had hidden glue, flipping glue, and joining glue. We did not have all 5 types. There are 2 types we didn't have. All right, let's go on. So now we have these types: joining, flipping, WH glue, combined glue, and hidden glue. So what I'd like you to do, based on what we've studied and done in class, I'd like you to match. These are all out of order, and you have to decide for each one, which does it go with? So you're going to answer one of the numbers and one of the letters. So how does it go together? And just notice the formatting. When you, I don't want to give the answer yet. Okay, all right, whoops. Okay, so now you can work on that yourselves and match them up and see how you do, and then I'll give you the answers. And here we go. Noun clause introducers or relative pronouns in subject position. Remember, the ones we just did were not in subject position because we had the I. So that's your combined glue. Then you can't delete it. Even if it's that, you can't delete it. If it's in subject position and it's introducing a noun clause or a relative clause, you can't You can't delete it because it's the glue and the subject. All right. Next, when it's that is a non-subject position, noun, clause, introducer, or relative pronoun, then you can delete it. It's hidden glue. We just saw that. Then the noun, clause, introducers, or relative pronoun that are not in a subject position. Okay, and we can do it as long as it's not that, which is the only word that can hide. And then joining glue, coordinating conjunctions, and subordinating conjunctions, flipping glue. So how did you do with that? Okay, and here is a slide showing all of them in the right place. So you have that as a study guide for you, all fixed and organized in the right way. So there you are, and you can learn that. All right, so to recap this with the chapters of the textbook that we are using now, we have chapter 9 talks about type 1 and type 2, joining and flipping. And you can fill in this chart with the traditional names and an example. It's kind of a good study guide for you. And then types 3, 4, and 5, that's what's discussed in chapters 10 and 11 on relative clauses and noun clauses. Chapter 9, of course, being about compound sentences and adverbial clauses. So you have the traditional terminology and the glue terminology. Now, why is the glue system helpful? We have several reasons, and this is the last slide. Teacher acknowledgement and acceptance. Yeah, students say to themselves, hey, I'm getting my point across. Don't bother me with all these rules. I'm just not interested. And you have to accept that and say, yeah, I know, it's kind of a drag, okay? Many of these students write the way they talk, and when they talk, everything's fine. It's only when you write that you get into this kind of trouble with the sentence boundaries, right? Emphasis on analysis rather than correction. So what we do is we label and count. And then if we find that we're missing glue or we have an extra glue, then we have some way of dealing with it. But we don't talk about right or wrong. And we look at the whole system and how it works, just like we did with that paragraph. And the next one is it's kind of a gimmick. And instead of having all those terms, we have a non-linguistic term, glue, and they can think about that, and it's kind of a gimmick, and it's fun that way, and the different types of glue are that's less scary. And then it's reliable. You can give them the list. These are glue, this is this type of glue, these are transition words, they aren't glue at all, there's the semicolon, which is dangerous, you better know how to use it, okay. But it's all something you can learn. Remember, we have content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and ly adverbs. They're unlistable, they're infinite, but this is one of those parts of speech that is listable, these clause connectors, okay? So glue is listable, we can list it. The transition words are listable, we can list them. Okay, extensive use of their own written work. We didn't talk much about this, but when I do work with glue, I always use the students' own work and have them analyze their own work in addition to the kinds of exercises and activities that I develop for them. They're more motivated when they're analyzing their own work. It's more work for you in a way because it's customized, but you want them to really learn it this time around, so that's important. Okay, there we go. The camera's better, whatever. Okay, the end. Hope it sticks, guys. Thank you for listening.